An octagon ring, wire mesh fences, dazzling lights, cage fighting, and loud cheering. For everyone watching, it all makes for an adrenaline rush. In recent years, mixed martial arts, or MMA, has become quite popular with people who want to watch a good martial arts fight. In the 1960s, Bruce Lee adopted training that involved combining techniques from different martial arts along with his own no-holds-barred combat practices, and this led to major improvements in training equipment and training methods. What he achieved is regarded by many as the beginning of the worldwide spread of modern MMA. In 1993, the first Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC 1, took place, popularizing MMA around the world and establishing what would become a highly respected stage for martial artists. MMA began to appear in China just 20 years ago. At the time, the conditions faced by cage fighters in China were far behind those in other parts of the world.
In
MMA circles, Yao Honggang, who was born in 1981, is known as the Master Yao. He's an MMA veteran. Given his rich experience in MMA, Yao has even been invited by the military to enhance the combat skills of soldiers. Under Yao's guidance, the soldiers quickly improved their fighting skills and finally won a match. How did he end up with his well-known nickname, the Master Yao?
Okay guys, you know the rules. Watch the back of the head, watch the groin shots, okay?
On January 27, 2011, in the Legend Fighting Championship held at the Asia World Expo in Hong Kong, Yao played against Australia's Mick Mortimer.
就是第一次就是去香港打那种大型比赛，刚开始是没有太多的大赛经验，当时就是我把对方踢倒了以后，我冲进去太快了，对方起来以后把我给打倒，一个正拳打倒，我又站进去，后来又一个正拳把我打倒。
Lying on the ground, Yao was obviously at a considerable disadvantage, but he stayed in the game and refused to give up.
当时就是觉得自己只要能打，肯定打到最后，要取得胜利。因为这场比赛对我来说，很重要，因为我要打到最好，才能改变我的人生，才能给我带来更多的机会。
Unable to get up for quite some time, Yao was about to lose the match when he suddenly used a wrestling technique to knock down his opponent. Now, it was Yao's turn to launch attacks, and eventually he beat Mortimer through the sheer strength of his determination.
And there he goes. Some wily fighting here from the Australian, although
that was Mortimer on top to finish the round.
Yao Honggang!
Overnight, Yao became famous. It was his masterful execution of wrestling skills that earned him the nickname the Master Yao.
给我这个摆了好久了，对，也挺沉那时候。对，就是当时就是感觉这条金腰带对我来说很重要，但是就是在备战的时候就已经就是满脑子就想这一定要拿到这个金腰带。
Also in 2011, Yao, who had just turned 30, encountered another match that would be critical to his career.
最后我是跟那个韩国的赵南金争这个亚洲金腰带，最后很顽强的打了3个回合比赛，打满3局，等于说是点数取胜，也不容易。当时也是挂彩了，鼻子也流血啊，胳膊也挂彩了。
This was the first time a Chinese competitor had won the MMA gold strap in the Asia-Pacific region. With 2 wins in the same year, Yao started writing a new chapter in his life. Now in his late 30s, Yao has won many championship titles. But he lives frugally and he saves all the money he's earned. This is because he has a dream: opening a professional MMA training center.
在国内训练就是经常会坐地铁跑来跑去，比如上午在这个拳馆训练，下午去到那个拳馆训练，就是来回跑，就有时候感觉很累。就你上午训练完了，可能吃完午饭没有休息就去了下个拳馆。他这样的话，他这个状态不会太好。你中午不休息或者是休息不好的话，你训练状态就不会很好。后来我就想，我干脆开一个得了。
His initial reason for wanting to set up his own training center was to reclaim time spent in traffic, so it could be used by himself and others to focus on real MMA training. At the same time, despite the increasing number of international competitions, few Chinese athletes were participating. This made Yao's desire to open a center even more intense. He wanted to develop China's MMA, and he wanted to see more Chinese athletes on the international stage. But finding an appropriate space in Beijing to open a training center wasn't easy. The rent alone was extremely expensive, to say nothing of the high costs involved in hiring foreign coaches, interpreters, various members of staff, and so on. Yao had been trained to be a fighting athlete from quite early in his life. Now he had to figure out how to build his dream MMA training center on his own.
正好我有一个学生，这个俱乐部他做了1年，可能没做起来，他就想转给我。后来问我做不做，我看了这个地方以后啊，我就想了一天，我觉得本身自己一直都想开一个俱乐部，后来有这么一个地方，但是我后来算了算要投多少钱，因为当时我来的时候场馆非常简陋，设备很旧，场馆基本上没怎么装修，很简陋。我当时就是想了一下，就是我存的钱或者这个攒的钱都投进来够不够。
Once the MMA training center was completed, Yao started to realize that ideals and passion alone weren't enough to run the place.
我那时候就想有一个好的专业的训练拳馆请国外的这个更好的教练来教我们，完了呢就是我们能打更多的比赛。满脑子想的就是提高打比赛，也没想着是怎么把这个拳馆经营好，怎么挣钱。那时候真没想那么多。我请的教练也是比较多很多这个投资都在教练身上你像我当时请巴西的有2个，还有这个泰国的菲律宾的，后来是美国的，反正就是断断续续的外教，还有加中国的教练，开支是比较大，但是我这个专业队员这一块呢，好多有的是朋友介绍过来的 有的是不好意思收费，有的是适当性的收一点费用，这样是肯定是不够开支的。
Renovating the training centre used up almost all of Yao's savings. He was surprised to discover that the cost of operating such a venue was even higher than actually building one. Soon after it opened, the training centre faced a serious financial crisis.
因为当时我这边教练都要给他们租房子，而且这个所有的队员都要住宿舍，因为这一块这个房子比较贵，就是你租一套房子一年可能就要最少10万。当时有那么多队员和教练要租4套房子，一年就40多万块钱，你再加上教练开工资，一年的开销压力很大的是。
Yao didn't have any background in economics or management, but he was a professional athlete used to taking on any challenge and fighting to the last minute. That same spirit was driving him to face the difficulties of managing the training centre, and so he didn't give up. Instead, he sought advice and slowly learned about the business. So how did he deal with all the financial pressure?
我当时光靠拳馆的收入是不够，所以我那个时候就决定就是多打比赛。那时候我的出场费比赛也越来越高了，我就状态也非常好，我就有比赛就接，有比赛就接，就是想多挣点钱，能弥补这个拳馆的开销。
By this time, Yao was over 30 years old, almost past the prime of his athletic career. After turning 30, most athletes see a decline in their capacity to recover and have to deal with reduced flexibility in their bones and ligaments. As a result, it becomes more difficult to maintain one's competitive level. Yao knew he had to be more self-disciplined than ever and train even harder. For several years, Yao had to invest most of the income he gained in competitions in the training centre just to keep it afloat.
我当时就是，我跟员工一样，我都住一起，住地下室大家都住地下室，住地上大家都住地上。这一块我觉得我就能省出一些钱。还有一个就是说，吃饭这一块也是一样，就是给大家一样，就大家吃什么我吃什么，也没有说特殊的。出于这个交通这一块，就是能地铁尽量坐地铁，有时候就是坐公交、骑自行车都可以，能省钱省下来以后，就是想办法把这个拳馆经营好。既然我开始经营这个拳馆了，我就想尽我自己最大的努力，把这个拳馆做得更好。
我给大家说一下，就练的时候啊，就是训练的时候，就是把动作简单动作反复练，练习惯。直接往后倒调。
When there were no competitions, Yao would get the best training at his own centre, learning from top coaches. He also personally coached other MMA trainees, eagerly teaching them everything he knew about the sport, passing on all his skills and experience without holding anything back.
接着抓，脑从这儿，手绕他头，绕，直接就抓这儿，就抓这儿，这样的话就。好，下个。
我会的东西都可以教给你，就是只要你喜欢，这适合你，就是你练得越好，我越高兴，是这样。就是我师爷都这样说，他就希望把他自己会的东西全部传授给别人， 就是说他认为他说我将来死了带走了没有用，我就发扬去才好。对他的这个精神，我一直学习继承着他的精神。再有那个新队员来训练的时候，知道吧？就是老队员要就是你们训练的时候，老队员训练的时候也要看着这个新队员。比如说像他谁刚过来的时候，你们训练好，给他布置点作业就行了，让他练着，你们这边可以练着，对吧？
Gradually, Yao's efforts began to bear fruit. The training centre started to turn a profit. After years of hardship, Yao managed to solve the various problems faced by the training centre and survived. At a time when the overall economy was suffering, Yao's centre established itself as a high-quality, high-standard facility in the industry, attracting more people to learn MMA.
今天咱们就练这个耙子啊，这个耙子在摔跤里边，将来你们参加柔术比赛特别管用。这样，一回来，再来，二，完这腿过来，啪，变成跟镰刀一样往回搂回来，好，回来，再换这个上这个腿，完这个腿再过来，这个腿搂，对，好，加油。
Yao's training centre attracts many young urban white-collar workers. As amateurs who haven't received any training, they can appreciate MMA by starting from scratch. Mi Yu is a software testing engineer. After training for 2 years at Yao's centre, she started to take part in MMA competitions.
是我参加的柔术比赛里面有一场比赛，我的对手比我重30多斤吧，就赢了他嘛，比分还比较多。觉得当你锁住一个级别比你大的人的时候，也是有很大的成就感的。就是我自从练了综合格斗之后，我就觉得自己意志力比之前要强了很多。
Yao Centre is continuing to attract more and more MMA trainees. Even movie and TV stars come here to receive MMA training. Actress Yao Honggang is about to play the role of an MMA coach in a movie. The crew introduced her to Yao Centre for the professional MMA training she needs for the role.
我很喜欢，就每天是很享受这个训练的这个过程，因为我觉得在这个训练过程中，你可以完全的、就是高度的集中你的这个精力，还有专注力。
你做的基本上可以打50分。你看，如果我这样踹完以后，我这样站，他肯定一拳就把我打倒了。因为，对，你看，在这，你看我踹完以后，对，一定靠胯，慢慢来。
After years of hard work, Yao became a successful businessman in the world of sports. But he never had time to just sit in the office being the big boss. He continued to compete with as much energy as ever in pursuit of a missing medal.
还有一个小梦想吧，这个小梦想的话，就是说我还是想去打一下 UFC。 就觉得能在 UFC 上打1、2场，自己没有遗憾，而且呢，那个平台确实想去打一打，它毕竟是世界上最高水平的比赛嘛。
The UFC is currently the world's highest and largest professional MMA event.
Switch stance.
当时你看打这个 UFC 的就一个张铁拳，现在最起码。 下边有个7、8个人都在打 UFC， 更何况去年那个张伟丽取得了世界冠军，今年又卫冕又成功，这个普及是这个曝光率特别高，
On June the 22nd, 2019, Yao was intensively preparing for a championship match. The outcome would determine if he could make it into the UFC. To prepare for this match, Yao specifically asked a good friend to be his training coach.
400拳，这个膝盖没抬起来了，叭直接就那个。 练大腿就是。你突然你的时候，他这个时候是无意识，对不对？这咱俩了。
就剩2个星期了，但是这2个星期对我的帮助特别大，从这个练力量、体能，再加这个一些拳法的这个距离感，对我帮助很大。其实我当时前面备战的时候，一个手受伤了。你看我握手当时都是这样握，都没有这样握，怕别人握着训练着，也是对我这个备战有一些这个影响。
他们的恩怨今天将在一场比赛全部的终结。首先，让我们欢迎代表哈萨克斯坦出战的天山雪豹驹马别克。
因为之前输给他过，因为他的这个摔跤啊、力量啊、体能啊都算是非常好的，拳也比较重，比赛经验也比较多。在美国打过 UFC， 在国内打了40多场比赛吧，都没输过。
38-year-old Yao once again stands in the octagon where he fought for 10 years with all his sweat, pain and joy.
打的也比较艰苦，主要是就是我备战的时间还是有点短，就是摔跤上这一块我没有发挥好，但是我的拳击这一块，和拳腿这一块有很大的进步。
再往前走，往前走，下边，往前下。
请你们的后方上。
Yao wins, moving one step closer to his dream of fighting in the UFC. Now, it's time to sing. Yao and his friends have come up with this song for MMA. For Yao, no matter how hard things get, he'll continue with what he's doing. And if the time comes he can no longer compete, he'll keep training people who may one day become the world's finest MMA fighters.
我们是中国力量擂台战士。